the bass keep pounding on me, baby. I really wanna make you mine. I don't really care about love. I don't really care about happy ever afters. Something about you gives me hope. Something about you, yeah. When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side.
Hola, 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 ¿cómo está? Ricardo Jiménez aquí en este tu show de Preguntale a Ricardo. Gracias a las personas que están aquí. Un aplauso para ti por estar aquí. Y te quiero decir que gracias en este show todos los días, lunes a viernes, 6 de la tarde, hora de Texas, 7 de la noche, hora de Florida, Puerto Rico, Nueva York y 4 de la tarde, hora de California. Gracias por estar aquí. Gracias por ser parte de este show. Y si estás aquí es porque quieres crecer tu liderazgo, desarrollo personal, quieres aprender sistemas, quieres aprender cómo puedes llevar tu negocio al próximo nivel. Hoy estamos en la clase número 2 de Vive tu Sueño. Ya terminamos la clase de las 15 leyes del crecimiento, terminamos la clase de las 21 leyes del liderazgo y ahora estamos en el libro, en el entrenamiento de Vive tu Sueño. Recuerda que este show no es para convencerte a que hagas un negocio. Este show no es para convencerte a que compres un producto. Este show no es para reclutarte a ninguna compañía. Este show solamente es para información, educación, crecimiento, sistemas, entrenamiento, liderazgo, desarrollo personal y poder elevar tu negocio al próximo nivel. Eso es todo lo que queremos hacer en este show. Así que por favor te voy a pedir que le des like, que le des deditos, que le des corazones, que le des share. Compartas este show para que la mayor cantidad de personas lo puedan ver. Si se escucha bien y se ve bien, te voy a pedir de favor que nos comentes en los comentarios, nos digas si se ve bien para poder seguir al próximo, en la próxima clase, que es la clase número 2, de Vive tu Sueño. Este libro está espectacular. Por favor, haz los ejercicios. Te llegó por email el guía de trabajo y te llegó también el avance para poder escribir tus metas, ¿verdad? Déjame ver si puedo hacer algo aquí porque me gustaría enseñarte lo que se supone que te haya llegado por, aquí está uno, ok, por email, ok. Si no te ha llegado, dime para poder enviártelo, pero el avance es un documento como este que tú vas a poder descargar y tener contigo. Se llama Avances que ayudan a crear tu sueño. Buenas tardes, Hilda. Gracias por estar aquí. Buenas tardes, Silvia Vegas. Gracias por estar aquí. Buenas tardes, Blanca Estela. Gracias por estar aquí. Este documento de avances que ayudan a crear tu sueño te tiene que haber llegado hoy por email. Y si ves, está en blanco porque tú lo vas a llenar. Si no lo puedes llenar, tú vas a tener el guía, que es este guía, ¿verdad? El guía para que puedas seguir. Y aquí están las lleno, ¿ok? Aquí está lleno. Vas a poder seguirnos a nosotros con este guía. El avance es para escribir. Ayudar a crear tu sueño, ¿ok? ¿Qué te animó? Esto me animó, ¿verdad? Esto me animó. ¿Qué es lo que te animó? Y aquí vas a estar escribiendo exactamente a cómo escribir tus sueños. Es un guía de avance y tenemos el guía del capítulo 2, que es el que nos quedamos ayer. Vamos a estar dando la pregunta número 2 y la pregunta número 2 dice, ¿puedo ver mi sueño claramente? ¿Ok? Así que vamos a empezar. Recuerden, estamos dando el libro de Vive tu Sueño y estamos dando el entrenamiento. Vamos ya por la pregunta número 2. Son 10 preguntas. Y la pregunta número 2, denme un momento para buscar aquí porque no estamos en el capítulo número 2. Por alguna razón el sistema está como que medio lento, no sé por qué. Así que denme un sueño, ¿ok? Denme un minuto. Ok. Ok, aquí vamos para la pregunta número 2. La pregunta número 2 dice, ¿puedo ver mi sueño claramente? Esa es la pregunta número 2 de este entrenamiento de Vive tu sueño. Y vamos a ver qué es lo que nos dice John C. Maxwell de esta pregunta número 2.
Question number 2. The clarity question, do I clearly see my dream? Do I clearly see my dream? One of my friends is Mike Hyatt, who is the CEO of the publishing company I just talked to you about, Thomas Nelson. And Mike and I and a few others were in Ireland a couple years ago playing golf for a few days, and I was writing this book. And so one morning, Mike and I, because he loves books and he's an author, and he, of course, is the CEO of a publishing company, we got up real early and went into this wonderful area of the hotel where we were staying and by the fireplace, and we talked the subject of dream, and I was laying out the questions. And as I was laying out the questions, he said, John, he said, the clarity question. He said, I think that's the most important of the 10. Now, as I give you these questions, you're going to say, well, I think this is the most important. And what you're going to find out is they're all important. But he said, the clarity question, he says, I think is most important. And in your notes, I have what he said. If you have a clear vision, you will eventually attract the right strategy. If you don't have a clear vision, no strategy will save you. So let me give you some clarity comments. Number 1. A clear dream makes a general idea very specific. Ben Stein said, the indispensable first step in getting the things you want out of life is this: decide what you want. It's that simple. And deciding what you want requires you to be specific and make your goals measurable. For example, take a look at these vague notions put into more specific form, like a general idea. I want to lose weight. That's just a general idea. But a specific goal would be, I will weigh 185 pounds by June 1. I need to treat my employees better. That's a very general idea. Specific way is, I will honor someone at every Monday staff meeting. Or a general idea, I want to get out of debt. Well, I will pay off all my credit balances, card balances by December 31st. Okay, you're getting the idea. I don't need to go through this whole list. You already know, but you've got to go from a general idea to a specific idea. When I wrote the book, Winning with People, when I wrote that book, people came out and they said, boy, it really helps me. But do you have any ways that I could win with people? And literally that was the reason I wrote 25 Ways to Win with People. It was just, you know what it was? It was taking winning with people that is a good, wonderful principle and a general idea to 25 ways to do it. And that's exactly what I'm talking to you about your dream. You've got to get clear, because when you're clear, you get specific. Number 2, a clear dream doesn't become clear without effort. And for me, this whole process begins with questions I ask myself. The dream is always rooted in the dreamer, in his or her experiences, circumstances, talents, and opportunities. So here are the questions I ask myself. This is from my exercise. This is how I've done it for years. This might help you. Here are the questions. What am I feeling? In other words, what are my emotions telling me? What am I sensing? What is my intuition telling me? What am I seeing? What is happening around me? What am I hearing? What are others saying? And what am I thinking? What do my intellect and common sense say? These are questions you want to ask yourself to come to that clarity that you want for your dream. Number 3, a clear dream affirms your purpose. In my effort to clarify my dream, I discovered that the more clearly I saw my dream, the more clearly I was able to see my purpose. Makes sense, doesn't it? And number 4, a clear dream determines your priorities. Once you get the dream clear, once you get the priorities set, everything else becomes so much more clear, and you feel much more motivated to get it. Just about a year ago, I had a little arrhythmia issue with my heart, and so I went to my cardiologist, who's a very good friend. And so he put me in the hospital for a couple of days and to get everything back in rhythm. And I knew that he would come and see me in the hospital that first day, and I, being a leader, I knew I needed to kind of get ahead of him on the weight issue. And you know, you don't wait for people. So when he came in, his name's Chauncey Crandall, and I said, Chauncey, I said, I know that I need to kind of manage my weight. And he smiled, and he said, no, he said, you don't need to manage your weight. And for a moment, I felt real good. I thought, I'm okay. He said, John, listen to me very carefully. He said, you're fat. You're fat. He said, fat people don't manage their weight. He said, if you're fat, you lose your weight. And then he said, guess what? When you get done losing your weight, then we'll manage your weight. But first of all, we're going to lose it. And then we're going to manage it. And I just cracked up. I mean, I just cracked up at myself. And well, you know what he was doing? He was bringing clarity. Yeah, he was real clear. John, you're fat. So I made a laminated card. I gave it to him, and it said, I can hardly wait to lose my weight so I can manage it. It got real clear. Nothing general, nothing vague, nothing subjective. In fact, in my briefcase that I have in the hotel room here, I have a folder that's just a personal file of a lot of my personal stuff in it. And on the outside, I have this cartoon. And it's a doctor that's talking to his patient. And he says, what fits your busy schedule better? Exercising 1 hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? Yeah. Yeah, lay it out for me. You know, what do you think is best? Okay. I got the clear picture. In 1981, I went to San Diego, California to pastor Skyline Wesleyan Church. And the church had plateaued and for 8 years had not experienced growth. Here I come to town, here I come to be the new pastor. And in my first board meeting, I'll never forget, there were 18 board members, and I passed out 3x5 cards, and I said, I want you on this 3x5 card in one sentence to tell me what's the purpose of this church. Collected the 18 cards, and I had 17 different answers from the leaders of the congregation. No wonder the church was plateaued. They weren't clear on why they were here, or they weren't clear on what they had to do. The clarity question helps us to begin to understand that a fuzzy dream or a fuzzy idea makes a lot of fuzzy actions and behaviors.
¿Qué quiere decir John en esta pregunta? Y es que la claridad es lo más importante para tener un sueño y para alcanzar tu sueño. Si tú no tienes claridad, no puedes tener nada. ¿Cuántas veces nosotros hemos repetido aquí en este show live de que es muy importante ser claro en lo que tú quieres tener? Buenas noches, Cristina. Gracias por estar aquí. Tú tienes que ser claro con tu sueño. Tú tienes que ser claro con tus metas. Tú tienes que ser claro con lo que tú quieres. Tú tienes que ser claro con quién es tu cliente, quién es tu promotor, quién es tu prospecto. Tú tienes que ser claro. Claridad te brinda expansión. Claridad te brinda certeza. Y eso es lo que está diciendo John. Es muy importante, ¿verdad? Muy importante que tengas claridad en tu sueño. Puedes ver tu sueño claramente. Y esa es la pregunta. Danos una visión clara para que podamos ver a dónde posicionarnos y para qué posicionarnos. Si tu visión es clara, eventualmente vas a atraer la estrategia correcta. Si tu visión no es clara, ninguna estrategia te salvará. No importa qué sistema tienes, qué plan tienes, qué producto tienes, no importa nada en tu negocio si tu visión no está clara. Y si las personas que trabajan contigo, las personas del equipo no saben tu visión. Muchas personas ya se saben mi visión de memoria, ¿verdad? Inspirar a latinos a que inspiren a otros para tener un mundo mejor. Muchas personas ya lo saben esa visión, la saben de memoria porque la he repetido miles y miles de veces. Pero muchas personas del equipo también la saben. Tu equipo tiene que saber cuál es la visión del equipo, cuál es la visión de la meta, cuál es la visión a donde ellos tienen que estar mirando. ¿Ok? Vamos a ver comentarios sobre la claridad. Un sueño claro hace que una idea general se convierta en una idea específica. Hace que esa idea crea forma. Empieza a formarse esa idea en tu mente. Pero tiene que estar clara. El primer paso indispensable para lograr las cosas que quieres en la vida es este. Es decir, ¿qué quieres? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres? Con claridad, ¿ok? Estamos construyendo el 2021, recuerda esto. Empezamos desde ayer a construir el 2021. Esto es bien importante. Quedan pocos días para que se acabe el 2020. Te tienes que ir preparando y lo primero que tienes que hacer es preguntarte ¿qué es lo que tú quieres? Decidir lo que quieres requiere que seas específico y que traces metas medibles. Por ejemplo, observa cómo convertimos estas nociones vagas en metas específicas. Idea general. Necesito perder peso. Meta específica. Voy a pesar 84 kilos en o antes del 1 de junio. ¿Ok? ¿Ves cómo es específica cuánto vas a perder? Idea general. Necesito tratar mejor a mis empleados o a mi equipo. Meta específica. Voy a darle reconocimiento a alguien en cada reunión de equipo de los lunes. Eso es específico. Idea general. Necesito pagar mis deudas. ¿Cuántas veces has dicho esto? Idea específica o meta específica. Voy a saldar todas mis cuentas de tarjetas de crédito en o antes del 31 de diciembre. Específico. Idea general. Me gustaría aprender un idioma. Meta específica. Voy a estudiar chino en 1 hora todos los días del año. Yo te garantizo que si tú estudias 1 hora todos los días del año, cuando se acabe ese año ya tú sabes hablar chino. Garantizado. Garantizado. ¿Ok? Idea general. Debería ponerme en forma. Meta específica. Voy a nadar 1 hora todos los días. Eso es específico. Idea general. Necesito mejorar mis habilidades de liderazgo. Meta específica. Voy a leer un libro sobre liderazgo al mes. Tienes que tener tu sueño claro. Tienes que tener tu sueño específico, tu meta específica. Vamos a escribir las metas para el 2021 cuando terminemos estas 10 preguntas. Ve preparándote, escribiendo en tus notas exactamente cuáles son tus metas, pero tienes que ser específico. Cada cuarto tiene que tener 5 metas. ¿Ok? Cada cuarto del año tiene que tener 5 metas. So, tu primer cuarto son 5 metas, segundo cuarto 5 metas, tercer cuarto 5 metas, cuarto cuarto 5 metas. ¿Ok? Esa es la manera en la que nosotros escribimos metas, pero tienes que ponerte específico. Tienes que ser específico. Un sueño claro no se aclara sin esfuerzo. Tenemos que esforzarnos, gente. Yo sé que es difícil conectarse aquí todos los días. Yo sé que es difícil descargar el documento, leer las preguntas, llenar el guía de participación. Yo sé que es difícil, pero tienes que hacerlo si quieres crecer. Para mí, el proceso comienza haciéndome preguntas. El sueño siempre se arraiga en las experiencias, circunstancias, talentos y oportunidades de un soñador. Me pregunto, ¿qué estoy sintiendo que me hace sentir mis emociones? ¿Qué estoy percibiendo que percibe mi intuición? ¿Qué estoy viendo que veo pasar a mi alrededor? ¿Qué estoy escuchando que oigo que dicen los otros? ¿Qué estoy pensando que piensan mi inteligencia y sentido común? Recuerda que un sueño claro reafirma tu propósito. De esto hablamos ayer, ¿te acuerdas? De esto hablamos ayer. Tu sueño claro reafirma tu propósito de vida, que es lo que estás haciendo. Al hacer un esfuerzo por clarificar mi sueño, descubrí que mientras más claro vea mi sueño, más claro veré mi propósito. Un sueño claro determina tus prioridades. ¡Wow! Un sueño claro otorga dirección y motivación al equipo. Como líder y mentor de liderazgo, estoy continuamente pensando en cómo comunicar una visión a otros. Si los líderes pintan una imagen vaga, la gente lo sigue de esa manera. La falta de claridad frena la iniciativa, impide la persistencia y destruye el seguimiento. Los seguidores no dan lo mejor de sí por algo que no entienden. Por eso tienes que ser claro con tu equipo, claro con la gente. La gente no sigue un camino por algo que no ve. Nadie se motiva por algo en que cree más o menos. Nadie. Nadie. Nadie va a seguir a un líder que no tenga una visión. Nadie va a seguir a un líder que no sepa para dónde va. Nadie va a seguir un líder que no esté claro, que no esté específico, que no sepa exactamente lo que hay, lo que quiere y lo que va a tener. Nadie va a seguir un líder que sea un líder vago, que no quiera ir por más de lo que tiene. Nadie lo va a seguir. Te pregunto a ti, ¿cuál es tu idea? ¿Cómo es tu idea? ¿Y qué estás proyectando en tu idea? ¿Ok? La pregunta número 3, vamos a la pregunta número 3. ¿Ok? Antes de ir a la pregunta número 3, vamos a cerrar esta pregunta número 2. Recuerda que tienes que tener un sueño claro porque las personas siguen a líderes que tienen sueños claros. Y esa fue la segunda pregunta de este entrenamiento de Vive tu Sueño. Ahora vamos a la pregunta 3. Vamos a la pregunta 3 de este entrenamiento de Vive tu Sueño. Y la pregunta 3 dice, ¿estoy dependiendo de factores bajo mi control para lograr mi sueño? Tú estás dependiendo de factores que están bajo tu control para lograr tu sueño. Y eso te pregunta John para saber si tú estás claro. Vamos a ver qué dice.
Question number 3. How we do it? Are you learning something? Okay, all right, then I'll go on. Question number 3 is the reality question, and the reality question just simply asks, am I depending on factors within my control to achieve my dream. Now let me just stop here for a moment. Look up at me for just a second. We'll go right back to notes, but just look up at me for a moment. It's hard, but do your best. I think this question is the most important question. Now, I said they were all important, but if you said, John, in what area do you think most people miss that question and don't achieve their dream? I would say this is going to be, for many of you even in this room today, this is going to be the question you got to go back and really work on in your own life. Look at the quote and then let me teach it. Reality is the enemy of fantasies, but not of dreams. In other words, listen to me carefully. When we think of dreams, we think of hopes and we think of aspirations, and it kind of makes our spirit soar. And what I have discovered is when people have a dream, many of them don't want reality to be brought into that mix. And I know that because, you know, I hear all the time what I call wrong motivational statements. I hear people say, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. Read my lips. That's not true. There's no truth in that. I know a lot of people that have a great belief in what they want to accomplish, but they never achieve that. Believing it will not how it is. Belief is a very vital factor in dreams. Of course it is. No doubt about it. But believing in your dream and believing that it's your dream is not enough, friends. You've got to go more than just believing something to achieve it. I've heard people say, you can go as far as your dreams will take you. It's not true. It's not true. Now, I'm not trying to say these things to discourage you. I'm trying to say these things to give us a little bit of a wake-up call, because many people miss their dream and never achieve it, not because they couldn't, but because they buy into thoughts and ideas that are deceptive, and when they buy into those, all of a sudden they realize that their dream is not based on.
Y quiero pausar porque tú que has estado en redes de mercadeo, yo te garantizo que tú has escuchado a una persona que te ha dicho, si tú lo crees, tú lo tienes. Todo lo que puedas creer, puedes crear. ¿Has escuchado eso en redes de mercadeo? Y esa es una mentira. ¿Ok? Eso es una mentira. Tú no puedes crear sueños de falsas ilusiones. Claro que tienes que creer. Tienes que creer en ti, tienes que creer en el sueño. Como está diciendo John, sí tienes que creer, pero solamente creyendo tu sueño no se va a hacer realidad. Yo conozco personas que estuvieron creyendo sueños por 5 años y nunca alcanzaron una posición en su compañía. Ni una posición en su compañía. Es que yo lo creo, yo tengo la convicción. Ese no es el realismo. Necesitas más. Sigamos.
Realism. So, let me explain the difference. In your notes, people who build their dream on reality take a very different approach to dreams than do people who live in fantasy land. By the way, we're living a life. We're not in Disneyland. Okay? Disneyland's wonderful for children. It's kind of sad for adults. Okay? Take a look at how differently they approach achieving a dream. Fantasizers rely on luck. Dream builders rely on discipline. Fantasizers focus on the destination. Dream builders focus on the journey. Fantasizers cultivate unhealthy expectations. Dream builders cultivate healthy discontent. Fantasizers minimize the value of work, where dream builders maximize the work they do. Fantasizers look for excuses. Dream builders lead to action. By the way, let me just stop here for a moment. I'll go right back to the list in a second. When you're making excuses for your dream and why you haven't, couldn't, shouldn't, didn't, whatever, you follow me? It's a surefire test that when you make excuses for your dream, you don't own it. One thing you'll find about people, going back to question number one on the ownership question, is my dream really my dream? One of the things you'll find about people who really own their question and really own their dream is they just don't make excuses for it. Let's go back. Fantasizers create inertia where dream builders generate momentum. Fantasizers breed isolation. They kind of go off with their own fantasy. Dream builders promote teamwork. Fantasizers wait, and dream builders initiate. Fantasizers avoid personal risk. Dream builders embrace risk as necessary. Here we go. Fantasizers make others responsible, and dream builders make themselves responsible. Columnist Ann Landers wrote, "Rose-colored glasses are never made in bifocals. Nobody wants to read the small print in dreams." Hello. What is the fine print when it comes to your dream? The fine print is reality. If you want to achieve your dream, you need to read the proverbial fine print. And when you do, here are a few things that you will find. Boy, this is true. The journey will take longer than you hoped. Hello. The obstacles will be more numerous than you believed. The disappointments will be greater than you expected. The lows will be lower than you imagined. And the price will be higher than you anticipated. Is that not true? Sam Levinson talked about his folks coming to America as immigrants. And they were under the spell, as a lot of immigrants who come to America, of the American legend that the streets are paved with gold. So when they came from Europe, here's what he said. When they came to America, he said, when Papa got here, he found out three things. One, the streets were not paved with gold. Two, the streets were not paved at all. And three, he was supposed to do the paving. Talk to me. Isn't that true in the reality? You know, you just think that in the beginning that it's just going to be quick and it's easy and it's just, you know, it's just going to be so accessible to you. And you get in this whole process and pretty soon you begin to understand that if you don't have realism beneath your, here let me tell you, Max Dupree said the first responsible leader is to define reality. Here's what I found. Reality is your foundation for your dream. And if you don't have reality as your foundation, I promise you your dream will be soft and you won't be able to build off of it. Okay, let's go to your notes. The more unrealistic your dream, oh, this is so important, the more you will be tempted to depend upon things you cannot control to make it become a reality. I'm going to read it one more time. The more unrealistic your dream, the more you'll be tempted to depend upon things you cannot control to make it become a reality. That is very true. If you're not realistic about your own assessment of who you are and why you're doing this and have that realism as a base, you will begin to depend a lot on luck and hope and maybe this will happen and hopefully this can happen, and you'll begin to have that kind of a mindset. It's kind of like the gal who was, I told you, my piano lesson, she was a pianist, and she was kind of like me. She wasn't very good, but the great Paderewski, she was in a wealthy family, was at their home one day, and so she convinced him that he ought to sit and listen to her play the piano, and so he listened to her for a couple of, what Paderewski would say, a couple god-awful minutes. And when she finished, she proudly turned to Paderewski, and she said, what do you think I should do now? And he said, get married. Yeah. Hey, it's not in the cards. Nobody's home. The doorbell's ringing, but nobody's answering. Okay, how do we do this? How do we get realism into our dream? What do we have to do to think so clearly that we have a foundation we can build it off of? Here we go. Number one, building on your strengths activates the law of least effort. What I'm going to tell you now is that your dream has to be based upon your strengths. In other words, you have to have some natural giftedness. You have to have some innate ability and be in an area, your dream, that taps that. And when this phrase, in fact, the first time I ever heard the phrase, the law of least effort, I kind of recoiled from it. I didn't like it because I thought somebody's trying to be lazy. And that isn't what the law of least effort is. The law of least effort is, haven't you done something that you're naturally gifted at and you were somebody that wasn't naturally gifted at it? Okay, are you with me? And for you, you could just do it so much easier. And you look at them and they struggled. Hello. And now that's the law of least effort. When you're in your strengths, it doesn't mean you aren't going to have to put maximum effort, but what it does mean is just easier to do it because it's who you are than for somebody, it's not who they are. That's the law of least. And when you begin to focus on your strength, what you begin to understand is that yes, you've got to learn. Yes, you've got to grow. Yes, you've got to put forth maximum effort. But you can, with just so little, do so much more than a person who does so much that has so little. I think this explains it best in your notes. Skip the first couple paragraphs. Entertainer Pearl Bailey asserted, there are two kinds of talent, man-made talent and God-given talent. With man-made talent, you have to work very hard. With God-given talent, you just touch it up once in a while. The second thought, building on your strengths enables consistently good results. Building on your strengths enables consistently good results. Maximum effort and maximum strength equal maximum return. When you put forth your best effort in your best area, you're going to get your highest return. Classic example, I only need to say this and every one of you will understand it. Michael Jordan, who is the greatest basketball player to ever play basketball. Unquestionably, all-time number one. Remember when he was at the height of his career, he decided he wanted to try pro baseball? Remember this? Michael left. I mean, he was at the top. He left and he went down to, single A baseball somewhere, double, some minor kind of a deal. And for a year and a half, he tried baseball. His batting average, I think, never hardly got above 200. And I mean, he wasn't going to make the majors. He wasn't hardly good enough to be on the minor league team. Now, why is Michael not doing so good in baseball? It's because his gifts are in basketball. The law of least effort works in basketball. He can put a lot less effort in basketball and be very good. He can put a whole bunch of effort in baseball and not be very good at all. He understood his strength zone. And one of the mistakes we make is we make a mistake because we're good at one thing, we can be good at all things. Because I do well over here, I could do well over there. That's not true at all. Because wellness and success a lot of times determines upon what our natural strengths are. Let's go to your notes. Because now we're going to put strengths with habits. Question, do I have the right habits to achieve my dream? J. Paul Getty, philanthropist, founder of Getty Oil, said the individual who wants to reach the top in business must appreciate the might and force of habit. He must be quick to break those habits that can break him and hasten to adopt those practices that will become the habits that help him achieve the success he desires. Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Here's the goal. Match your habits with your dream. What I'm about to teach now is going to be vitally important to question number 3. Match your habits with your dream. Remember earlier I shared with you the being on the golf course with Nathan. I looked at him and I said, I want to build a great church. That's where I got the $100 idea to talk to these pastors of these great churches. When I went and talked to them, I discovered that they daily did the things that helped them become successful. That they daily practiced habits that had a high return and a great compounding value. So I came out of those interviews saying, I have to make sure that I do the things every day that's going to build my congregation. Just like you have to make sure that you're doing things every day that builds your business. And one of the things I was convinced, and again, please understand, I'm a person of faith. I'm not trying in any way to evangelize you. So please understand, I've got to talk out of the world I live in. Are you with me? Because that's the only world I know. And so therefore, sometimes I've just got to give personal experiences. And one of the things I became convinced of was that if I was going to build a great church for God, I was going to have to share my faith with a lot of people and help them come into a relationship with God. So listen very carefully. I'm talking about put your habits, make habits that'll help you to achieve your dream. Every Sunday after I would finish preaching, Margaret and I and our friends perhaps would go out for a lunch. But by 2:30 on Sunday afternoon, I was back in my office. And my assistant had put on my desk the names of everybody that was a first-time visitor. And it wouldn't be a lot of names. It might be, we were growing, but I mean, we weren't huge at that time, but it might be 30 to 50 names of first-time guests. I would take every one of those cards, and I would that afternoon, from 2:30 to 6, I would call every one of those individuals. And I'd say, hey, I'm the pastor. Thanks for coming today. They were blown away that I would do that. And then I would make an appointment with them that week. And every week, I spent 10 hours. And by the way, by 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, I had my 10 appointments for that week already scheduled, already on my calendar. And that week, I would go see those people for about an hour, and if they were not people of faith, I would begin to introduce them to God and begin to share my faith. And I did that. I did that every week for every year I was the pastor of that church. And people come to me and say, John, how can you grow this congregation? You got all these new people, and what's happening? And they wanted me to kind of be mystifying and say, well, you know, God is amazing, isn't he? You know what I mean? It's just, oh my goodness, it's just amazing. No, God is amazing. But it took 10 one-hour appointments every week to build that church. And now all I'm asking you is, what habits do you have in your life that help you build your business? I mean, if I sat down and said, okay, tell me, what things do you do every week? What things do you do every day that helps you at the end of that week to say, this week I was successful in this work? And then you start and you do it all over again. And here's what you have to understand. You always keep on doing it. People all the time say, well, how many years do I have to do that until I won't have to do that anymore? I do have good news. There's a time when you don't have to do that anymore. It's when you're dead. When you're dead, you don't have to make another call. You don't have to have another home visit. You don't have to hold another meeting. So when you die, don't worry about it. But success is not an accident. People that achieve their dreams. Now, this is the reality that I'm trying to bring in to this question. Because there are a lot of people, they love the idea of the dream. They just don't like the idea of doing something every day that makes the dream a reality. So here's your reality roadmap to your dream. You start at a certain place. You begin to look at your strengths, the things that you kind of naturally do well, and make sure that they fit the dream that you have. If you could say yes to that, then you get over to the habit side. And you begin to say, now what habits do I need to inject in this dream that every day I do something that will get me closer to it? And then you begin to realize your potential, and when you begin to realize your potential, it's only a matter of time till you realize your dream. Here's the key, last statement. Reality is the foundation of your dream. If I were leading a person and they wanted to be a success, the first thing that I would work on them is, what are you doing today that makes tomorrow what you want it to be. What are you doing today? Come on, don't tell me about your hoping. Don't talk to me about your thinking. What are you doing today? What are you doing today that makes your dream tomorrow a reality? And if your day's not filled today with the things that are going to make your dream a reality tomorrow, then I can promise you you'll never have it, because you haven't passed the reality test, the reality question.
Y esa es la tercera pregunta del día. Y como él dijo, la tercera pregunta para mí es una de las preguntas más importantes de estas 10 preguntas. Estoy dependiendo de factores bajo mi control para lograr mi sueño. La realidad es enemiga de las fantasías, pero no de mis sueños. Recuerda, tú no puedes vivir en fantasía. Hay muchas personas que quieren llegar a la primera posición de su compañía. Hay muchas personas que quieren hacer dinero, pero no quieren hacer el trabajo para hacer el dinero. No quieren tener la agenda, no quieren tener el calendario, no quieren llamar personas, no quieren hacer citas, no quieren hacer presentaciones, no quieren hablar con clientes, no quieren hablar con personas nuevas todos los días. Recuerda, la realidad es que el sueño no te va a caer del cielo, ¿ok? La gente que crea su sueño basado en la realidad toma un enfoque muy diferente al de aquellas personas que viven de la fantasía. Observa cómo persiguen sus sueños de manera diferente. Los que fantasean dependen de la suerte, los que crean sueños dependen de la disciplina. Los que fantasean se enfocan en destino, los que crean sueños se enfocan en el viaje. Los que fantasean cultivan expectativas, los que crean sueños cultivan un sano descontento. Los que fantasean menosprecian el valor del trabajo, los que crean sueños maximizan el trabajo que hacen. Los que fantasean buscan excusas, los que crean sueños conducen a la acción. Los que fantasean crean inercia. Los que crean sueños generan momentum. Los que fantasean engendran aislamiento. Los que crean sueños promueven el trabajo en equipo. Los que fantasean esperan. Los que crean sueños inician. Los que fantasean evitan riesgos personales. Los que fantasean asumen riesgos según sea necesario. Y los que fantasean hacen a los demás responsables. Y los que crean sueños se hacen responsables. Muy importante, el recorrido va a tomar más tiempo de lo que esperabas. Los obstáculos van a ser más numerosos de lo que creías. Las desilusiones van a ser mayores de lo que esperabas, los momentos bajos van a ser más bajos de lo que imaginaste y el precio va a ser más alto de lo que anticipaste. Muchas personas no quieren esperar. Muchas personas lo quieren ayer. Muchas personas no quieren gastar tiempo, dinero, energía. Muchas personas no quieren pagar el precio. Muchas personas lo quieren ya. Si en 6 meses no soy millonario, me voy. Eso es lo que hacen muchas personas. Mientras más irrealista sea tu sueño, más tentado estarás de depender de cosas fuera de tu control para hacerlo realidad. Recuerda que número 1, usar tus puntos fuertes activa la ley del mínimo esfuerzo. ¿Ok? Usar tus puntos fuertes permiten obtener resultados consistentes. Máximo esfuerzo y máxima fuerza equivale a máximo retorno. Tengo los hábitos que necesito para alcanzar mi sueño. Y como yo siempre he dicho, la disciplina tarde o temprano vence la inteligencia. Yo no estoy buscando personas inteligentes. Yo estoy buscando personas disciplinadas. Cuando yo voy a mentorear a alguien es lo primero que le digo. Olvídate de ser el más inteligente, yo quiero que seas el más disciplinado. ¿Ok? En redes de mercadeo las personas que más ganan son las personas con más disciplina. Inicio, puntos fuertes, hábitos, potencial equivale a tu sueño. La realidad es fundamento de tu sueño. Es la realidad el fundamento de tus sueños. Y ahí nos quedamos en la tercera pregunta del día de hoy. En este entrenamiento de Vive tu Sueño. Increíble, espectacular. No tenemos mucho tiempo. Pero quiero que sepas que en tu email te llegó exactamente lo que tú tienes que hacer para fortalecer tu sueño. El guía está en tu email, ¿verdad? El avance que te ayudan a crear tu sueño está en el email y el libro está en tu email. Así que busca tu email para que puedas tener esto. Muy interesante. Gracias. De nada, Cristina. Así que recuerden que pueden ustedes tener todo lo que nosotros estamos dando aquí en YouTube. ¿Ok? Estamos todo grabado en YouTube. Están todos los videos grabados en YouTube. También tenemos un grupo cerrado de Maximiza tu negocio en redes de mercadeo. Y tenemos el podcast que salió el martes. Todos los martes, todos los viernes salen el podcast. Y tú lo puedes tener ahí. Así que vamos ahora a leer los 10 mandamientos en red de mercadeo. ¿Ok? Así que vamos a leerlo juntos. Yo quiero que me ayudes. Número 1. No dudarás. Número 2. Siempre en modo estudiante. Número 3. Cero drama. Número 4. Disciplina. Número 5. Siempre reclutarás. Número 6. Serás flexible. Número 7, confiaré en los números. La data es lo más importante. No le crea a las personas, créele a los números. Número 8, amaré a mi equipo como a mí mismo. Número 9, tomaré acción correcta y la más importante de todas. Nunca me rendiré. Número 10. Gracias a todos por ser parte de este show. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros y recuerda, por favor, danos like, por favor, comenta, por favor, compártelo. Estamos en facebook.com/unmentor. Queremos ser parte de tu crecimiento y queremos ayudarte a que tu éxito sea inevitable. Ricardo @rjleadership.com. Ahí nos puedes enviar email. Gracias.